Welcome to This Week in Pulling, the show that brings you all the action from the world of tractor and truck pulling. I'm Dan Mayer, joined by Jeremy and Miles Krieger, and each week we'll dive into the latest highlights, breaking news, and behind-the-scenes stories from the sport we all love. From upcoming events, standout performances, and the rich history that shape pulling into what it is today, we've got you covered. So buckle up, This Week in Pulling starts now.
Well, welcome back. This Week in Pulling, episode 25. And, well, we're one down here this week as Miles had some work stuff going on and not going to be able to join us here this afternoon. As Jeremy, we're going to have to carry on.
That's right. As you and I would say, he's not answering the call.
Yes, not answering the call. So
he's not
make it to the big end.
Not at the ready line to head to the big end this afternoon, evening. But that's okay. It happens, and we all kind of pivot, and we'll, like I said, the show rolls on, and we'll catch Miles when he's back, hopefully next week with us. But we're Son's brother Miles this afternoon. But good to see you. Good to be with everybody for another episode. 25 episodes already. This is we're better than halfway through a year or so. Like, we're getting to that point, so that's exciting.
Quarter into our century mark.
Yeah, thank you for everybody who's been watching and sending valuable feedback and being a great part of the show. Everywhere I go now, people are still talking about our Wednesday night episodes and watching. So it's been good. It's been great. Talk a little bit about your weekend, Dan. I've got to say, man, you had a pretty stellar weekend. Like, I'm going to let you talk about it. I'm going to give you your flowers because, like, from an announcing perspective, you hit a home run this weekend, pal, and I'm gonna let everybody that doesn't know or isn't privy to what we're discussing. I want you to tell the story because I dialed in and listened, and it was Miles and I are texting back and forth, just like, oh my God, Dan Mayer, it's on cloud 9 tonight, and you both sounded unbelievable.
It may take me a week or two to come back, but
unbelievable.
Hopefully everybody had a safe Labor Day weekend. That's the biggest thing. Hopefully everybody was safe, had a good time, and, everybody make it back and, back to, a lot of kids back to school. I know back up Western New York, everybody's up back to school there after Labor Day and all that. But Jeremy, I got to work with Dave Grimm, the legend himself.
And it was unbelievable. And now I know that Dave Grimm has been around, and I know he still does events from time to time, and he's been doing some regional stuff.
Yes.
I totally get that. And so, I mean, it would stand to reason that he's, still involved, but my God, that guy hasn't missed a beat. If you know him from the 80s and 90s and you grew up with that voice and you hear you guys working together, I would encourage everybody who can to dial back into Full Pull Live if you haven't already and watch those 2 episodes from Canton this weekend. Dave Grimm has not missed a beat. There's a reason he's an NTPA Hall of Famer. That guy was on. He was absolutely on, and you guys did wonderful building off of one another. And I know it probably wasn't even like working for you. You were just,
Oh, no, I was in awe the whole time. You had to pinch me. You had to keep pinching me because, man, and he had told, we had talked during the afternoon on Friday, and he's like, Dan, I haven't done this in a while. And I'm like, Dave, you'll be just fine, And as soon as we started going, it was like he just went. It was like 1985 all over again, Jeremy. It was.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I happened to be watching. Miles was watching, and he and I are texting back and forth. And there was a particular spot in the pro stock class where somebody took the lead, and it was that voice, like this. He's hyper and all excited and like, oh my God, there it is. We both got chills. Like the hair on the back of my neck was standing up, and I'm like. And I will say it sort of made me wax nostalgic for just a minute because I do feel like if my dad had the opportunity to dial in on one with you or that would be a great show too. But, taking nothing away, but it was unbelievable. It was really, really, really cool to see somebody from, the past, somebody who is that prominent in our sport as an announcer, just come back, turn the mic on and boom, lickety split, like nothing ever changed. That guy is just, he's good.
Oh, it was awesome.
That's all you.
It was just totally awesome, for those folks that don't know Dave, Dave is a Hall of Famer. He's, was inducted into the NTPA Hall of Fame back in 2002. and actually started with the NTPA as an intern.
Right.
He graduated from Ohio State, and more or less just Ed Hart at the time was the president. Well, Ed Hart was on the executive board, and
Sure.
I think it was I'm trying to remember, it was might have been Dave Chamberlain or one of them was the president back then. But yeah, he started as an intern and more or less just kind of worked his way through there and all the way up to executive director.
Right.
But with NTPA in the early 80s, and then then left the NTPA as executive director, and then just worked for NTPA as an announcer, TNT at the time. But he was doing, basically opposite your dad. I mean, throughout the winter time and during the summers as well. They were
right.
Shoot, I don't even think I know that one time they worked together at the farm show there with TV, but
right.
For the most part, I don't think they really worked together that much, did they?
Well, no, I don't think so. And I think maybe one, I think, and I could be wrong here, but I feel like one was mostly always TV and the other was live PA. Like, I think they went to the same places, but it was kind of like Dad and Army or, that kind of deal where they were at the same venue doing different things at the same time.
Okay. All right. Because, I know that a lot of the events where I was, Hamburg and Syracuse and then our winter pulls up at Niagara Falls, Dave would usually do those,
right?
And I don't remember seeing your dad, at any of those unless you went to the Midwest and then you would see your dad.
Well, and I think Dave kind of hit his stride about the same time that monster trucks were becoming supremely popular, and I know that Dad, did a lot of that for a long time. Like he sort of, I'm not going to say he put pulling on the back burner, but he went where he was asked to go.
Right.
And, some of the monster truck stuff happened and he sort of took off and did a lot of that versus pulling. And I don't think their paths crossed near as much because of, they were in different organizations at the time.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Cause then I think it was 89 that Dave took the job up in Essex Junction, Vermont, and he ran that fair up through, I want to say 2012 or so is what he had said, and then made his way back to Ohio. But yeah, no, it was what a great, and we were both there last year at Canton.
Right.
What a great event.
It's a wonderful pool.
Yes.
It's an absolutely wonderful facility and a great pool. And the people, of course, the Schmuckers, what can you say about them? They're great people and they put on a fantastic show. But yes, and again, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about Classic Super Stocks because I love that.
We had 2 nights of those. Yes.
I love that it's there, and I always will, and I love that they bring it back every year. But they do a fantastic job. It's a great venue, and then I also understand, they do a lot of antique pulling during the afternoons and some farm stock stuff on Saturday afternoons and stuff before the hot stuff pulls, but. Yeah, it's a great venue, and I was sad to not get to go this year. So, I hope to one day get to come back. But it was, the Charlie Schwartz Memorial and the Stark County Fair is a fantastic place to go. And, of course, it butts up to the, the big go. So you can leave Canton, head to Indy on Sunday and, make a weekend out of it. And I know that's exactly what you did.
Yes. That was, and another great thing, that with Danny Schmucker, on the fair board, working with the tractor pull. This year they had the junior fair board members that I think it was in part of the FFA as well, that they all ran farm stock tractors. The kids ran farm stock tractors during the afternoon. How awesome was that? And,
awesome. Yeah, sure.
I mean, they had 200 some hooks during the afternoon for, and just, so that was, I love when the kids stay involved with things, and you had to be a part of that deal to pull. You couldn't. It wasn't open to anybody and everybody. You had to be
had to be right in that organization to even get to enter.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
So that was really cool that they, and as you know, Jeremy, there at Canton, they put on some fine feeds.
Yes,
folks that are there.
What was the fare this year? did you have roast beef and mash?
With the pulled pork, and then hot dogs, and then you name it. They had all kinds of and the pie and the ice cream, and it was great. So they hats off to everybody at Stark County Fairgrounds. Great event, and that was even before we got any pulling done. That was everything. up to the Grand National Pull. Now this year they swapped out the light modifieds with the 2-wheel drives, more or less for time, because I mean 2-wheel drives you were getting 25, 30 of them.
Yeah.
So so for time they just kind of swapped out with the light modifieds, and boy, the light mods put on a great show. That's we'll start there.
Papa Wayne, congratulations to the man, the myth, the pride of Warsaw, Kentucky. Gets it done, and I know he was a sentimental favorite for everybody. And if you're telling me he wasn't, you're wrong.
Yes,
he was an absolute sentimental favorite, and I'm delighted that he gets his. I didn't realize this is his first NTBA Grand National title.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yep, and looking back, he's got them couple PPL titles he won back in the Lucas days, and then he's got a couple TNT indoor event titles as well, but never anything on the Grand National circuit. And so congratulations to the Kentuckian team, the Sullivan team, well deserved. And boy, it was.
But it came down to the wire. Yeah,
I mean, you feel bad for RJ and crew. I mean, they were going after it. They really were, and unfortunately got out of bounds there on the left side there. RJ did Saturday night, but what a great class and what a great show all year long for them.
And we talked about that. We said that this light mod class is really going to wake a lot of people up, and it's going to be one of the greatest classes to watch all season. And I think it was. And I understand that we still have points chases and points battles and things for the rest of the classes, but it was really entertaining. And I like I say, just delighted that Papa gets his, and I know the Simons were super duper close. It was really fun to watch it come down to the wire. So congratulations to them on a hard-earned second place as well. But man, what a fun class to watch all season. And the Feises and everybody.
And it was so close because Les Corporal had to scratch on Saturday night. He found some bearing material in his filter. Gotcha. So he was a scratch for Saturday night, and he was hoping that he had enough points to get into the Enderley, and Todd Feist finished just 1 point out from getting in there. So, I mean, if he would have had one more position, it probably would have went to the tiebreaker and all that, but boy, awesome. And hats off Johnny Payne. Limitless team. Sure. They got it, found winner's circle as well as RJ did with the, on Friday night, but great class, light modifieds, excellent show. And, I think everywhere that they have run this year, they've earned their way back to that particular event. And I'd see more events, have them putting them on.
Yeah, without question. I think that this has kind of been the banner season for that class. I mean, I know it's been around a while, but it seems like it's just caught its resurgence, and there's been some more people diving into that class. And I look for it to do great things on into the future, and be interesting to see when the schedules come out where they send the light mods next year. But again, congrats Papa Wayne on a well-deserved 2025 points title. And I know that, Grousey and Donnie and that whole bunch are just happy as they can be up there in Warsaw.
They were all celebrating on Sunday at the U.S. Nationals as well. They stopped in on their way back to Warsaw, and
for sure
they were having a good time there at the U.S. Nationals, enjoying that championship. Now, light super stocks, we still got a pretty close battle. I think Colton's pretty much got it. He's got a 5-point lead going into the Enderley, but Brian Bowles. But boy, what a heartbreak for Marcus Wedelson.
Absolutely, just sickening.
Yes. That was unfortunate there for Marcus, really running that. Oh man, had the win at Wellington, and it really had a streak of finishes going. I mean, this tractor was the hottest thing, and unfortunately, he let go on him there on Saturday night. So unfortunately, but he rumor had it he had another spare engine to go to the Enderley. So we'll see how things shake out. But congratulations, Colt Whitworth. I think he's pretty much got that in the bag, back to back for him.
And I'm assuming like the whole bottom end came out of that motor, right?
It did. We saw rod caps, and it was not good. So it was, a tough break there. Brian Bowles, first year running the Grand National circuit. Right now, currently sits in the number 2 spot. And then, Rex Kuhn, he's always tough. That John Deere, the Letterbuck, right there in the mix. So that's pretty much your top 4 going into it. I think the Considered Armed and Dangerous Cody's been driving that one lately, like 20 points out going into the Enderley. So that was, but Kyle Carlin, the Bad Blood, winner's circle on Friday. He was our winner on Friday, and Colton was the winner on Saturday there with the Yield Express, your 2 winners. And then how about that Pro Stock class?
Yeah, absolutely. Now I didn't, I was working the weekend, so I didn't get to really dial in and see all of it. But, what I did see was pretty exciting.
Yeah, the Mac Daddy team did what they had to do. The Mac team were actually Mike Connie's tractor. The Mac Nasty was already in the Enderley, and the Mac Daddy tractor came into the weekend number 6 in points. Okay. So it had to work its way. And boy, whatever they found something, because that tractor, she was on kill all weekend and swept the weekend. James Ray doing the driving. Julia has her big shooting deals. She had talked to Tate there at the event, and he had said that they got some big finals coming up in Tennessee coming up here. So she had another event. So, James Ray did the driving and put the tractor into the Enderley with this weekend to go. So they got 2 hooks at Sandwich on Saturday, and we'll see how that all shake out there with the Pro Stocks. But let's talk about Wauseon, Ohio.
Absolutely.
Had a hook there for the mini rods to get into the Enderley as well as the 4-wheel drives.
Absolutely, and we're getting sort of onto the into the nitty gritty, down to sort of the finals, and it's tightening up. So, Adam Kester still has a foothold, but the door is open. The weekend at Wauseon, had kind of a shakeup, and I think. Jeff Hurt is still very much in the conversation, but I think the story is Adam Bauer over there at Wauseon, and here we go. Things are tight now. Coming into the weekend, you've got Footloose at 347. Then you have a tie with the Little Bear and the Iron Toy, 3 points back, and then Lindsey Campbell's 5 points back, and then number 5 is Ken Vini. So. Here we go. We thought it was going to be a 4-horse race, and I guess maybe now it's more of a 3-horse race kind of coming into, I don't think the door is completely closed. I think, the sentimental part of me thinks that Lindsey Campbell still has a shot. But again, you're talking 3 points versus 5. So, is it realistic to think that she could get there? But stranger things have happened. Mm-hmm. But, I think now we're at down to a Kester, a Bauer, and a Hurt.
Yes.
Mr. Excitement. Kind of sleeping through. I'm not going to say he slept. He just was under the radar.
Yep.
And then when he had to, he makes his move, and here we are. He's in contention to win a Grand National title in this Little Bear machine. So it's gonna be a very, very interesting Enderley.
And just watch out for that Iron Toy.
Well, absolutely,
like a well-oiled machine. It just keeps.
The Bowers don't play.
Yes.
The title's on the line, but neither do the Kesters. That's why.
No.
It's going to come down to this is going to be awesome. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be fantastic, and I think you got to take your hat off to Ken Vini for making a good run. Top 5 guys in his late 80s,
85 years old, and he won a Grand National pull.
Still out there doing his thing, and in the top 5 and headed to the Enderley with the Wadsworth, Ohio-based funny little farm. I love it. I think it's a great story. It's fantastic, and it's another reason why we love the sport. But hats off to all 5 in the top 5. You can't take anything away from them. But Lindsey's still in there, having great success, just being consistent. The wins have come with the other guys, and I feel like it's going to be an exciting Enderley for sure. I wish I could go, but I'll be working too. So
yeah, when the NTPA changed things up, this is. I hope this is what they had in store, because they were thinking, because it's turned out some of the classes, okay, it's not going to really change anything, but for some of them, it's going to be pretty darn awesome.
Well, and I feel like what Miles said, I've been kind of pondering that since he had those conversations.
Well, yes, we'll talk.
I feel like they do need to do that. Like they need to NHRA has a regular season champion, but then everything stops. and you go. The last event is the last event, and then you crown the champion. So I feel like maybe to his point, if you're kind of late in the hunt, and why would you don't have a mathematical chance, you're not going to throw her on kill like everybody else is. So, but
so this past weekend at Canton, I took those two scenarios to the pullers.
Okay.
And so what I did was scenario A was zero everybody out. Let's start over, winner take all at the Enderley.
Okay.
And then the second scenario was with Miles with the points.
With
Maybe
the
we should
weighted
structure
points,
like a 30, 25, something like that.
Sure.
And it was about 50-50.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, did you get any clear-cut data on which way it would go?
It was pretty much 50-50. Some guys said winner take all. Let's do it that way, winner take all. Some were, hey, let's do the staggered points. And then there was a couple that leave it alone. I think it's we'll see how it shakes out, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, so I just kind of curious what everybody kind of thought of something like that, and in the problem is with pulling, you don't have, if you zeroed the points, you don't have 5-6 events to make that up,
for sure.
Kind of thing, like, with drag racing or, NASCAR or anything like that.
Right.
So with pulling, it's, here we go, you zero them and, back them up to the sled, winner take all. Let's do it, and so,
absolutely.
Yeah, some were, so like I say, some were in favor of that, some weren't. And so that was kind of interesting what everybody thought. Four-wheel drives in Wasion. We've got another battle.
Yeah, I can't say it this week. I would say it every week.
Yeah, I know.
This week I have to say Taylor Course is in second.
Yes.
But that's okay. You know what? It's
we got a shot.
And she's in second to her dad. So,
yes.
Maybe they got team orders. You never can tell how that's all going to work out. But again, another very, very, very tight battle. So Tommy Corsa comes in the lead at 270. Taylor's back 3, 267. Rob Foster is back 4. So there's 1 point between them. And then another point back to the Holmans at 265. And
half a point, right? Half a point.
Yeah, half a point. And then, 265 and a half. And then Rule 19 at 265. So, and then, you go back to the seldom seen. John Davis at 6. Justin Grace is now in 7th. And then Mark Mangan and the Outlaw at 8. So, again, and then you got one more time at number 9 and the Profab geared up at 10. But, I think the race is going to come in your top 3, probably. We'll see. But American Made, Taylor Made, and Simply Red are within 4 points of one another. But then you have the many-time national champions just lurking outside.
Just wait.
Half, and, of course, this was their hometown pull in Wasion. So, but again, they've been very good at the Enderley. Over the years. I know the stat as far as how many times they've won it, but it's a lot. And they have a whole mess of grand national titles too. So this is another one of those points races that's going to just be unbelievably fun to watch coming into the Enderley.
So congratulations, Tommy Corsa, for picking up the Grand National win in Wasion. Looked like another big field. I think they had 24, 25 trucks again there, and
for sure,
hats off to that class for this year. Big numbers and tough competition, and so we'll see. Hopefully, maybe some more venues will sign the 4-wheel drives up there for their season. But yeah, it's not done yet. We've still got one to go. So
yep, you're headed up to Sandwich this weekend.
Yes. This week will be Sandwich, Illinois. We'll have trucks on Thursday night. Super stock diesel trucks will be running Thursday night, and we got a head on over to fullpull.us for all the lineups are over there, and the diesel super stock class for Thursday night looks like they got 20 of them. So they've got 20 super stock diesel trucks. We've got, of course, in the lead, Shane Kellogg, Marshall DeBrew sitting number 2 spot. The young man there out of Wisconsin.
Yep.
So, that'll be interesting. I think Shane's pretty much got that sewn up there, but he's going out for wins, and another stout class of super stock diesel trucks. And we had talked about that on one of our previous shows about how this class just keeps continuing to grow and grow, and you start putting out 20 or so trucks at every event. That'll be always put on a great show. So they'll be running here this weekend, and as you look down the lineup here for the super stock diesel trucks, it's pretty much a who's who. Everybody's here, and we'll see, like you say, who actually will make it there. And I would look for them to have 15 to 20 trucks easily.
Absolutely.
In that field. So that'll be a good show for them. And then got regional action with the 2-wheel drive class, regional action with the 4-wheel drives, and then they run these 3-6 trucks. The only event that they run for them trucks, right, is at Sandwich.
Okay.
I do believe
so that's Thursday night.
Yep.
You've got a great session Thursday night, but then that's what's interesting about Sandwich. You skip.
Yes. We got a concert on Friday night.
Last year, I don't know who's coming this year.
Okay.
Last year was Riley Green.
Okay.
I don't know who they've brought to perform at the Great Sandwich Fair this year, but last year was a guy named Riley Green. And then you'll pull 2 sessions on Saturday. You have an afternoon session and then an evening session, and it's usually Pro Stocks, Diesel Supers, Super Farm, and Mods too, right?
Yep. Those are the 4 classes. Yep.
Okay.
In the afternoon. And then those will be the 2 final hooks for all those classes.
Yep.
Till the Enderley. So,
and I will tell you now, and again, I don't know if it happens this year, but I will say, having been at that event last year and it getting nice and cool this time of the year, I would not rule out the possibility of a good pot of chili being over there in the Pro Stock somewhere when you get done.
Oh, or Patty Hazley.
Well,
Patty Hazley makes one heck of a chili.
Last year, it was the Canes.
Okay.
The red, the
Red Gambler
team had a wonderful little chili feed after the show with chili and hot dogs and a bonfire. It was, that chili that, for lack of a better word, no pun intended, it was that chili that
to have chili.
We all sat by and had chili next to the fire on a chilly evening up there in Sandwich, Illinois. So I hope you get to do that. It was I and Robbie Lemke and several others enjoyed. The Schmuckers were over there, and it was, I had 2 or 3 bowls, and before I knew it, I'm like, I gotta go to the hotel because I gotta drive home tomorrow. But it was a fun night. That's a great pull. I think you're going to enjoy that venue and the fair. Make sure you head on over to check out the fair while you're there because it's a great fair. Lots of cool things and lots of booths and fun stuff to check out over there. So hope you'll get to do that too on some of your downtime in between sessions over there.
Now, not too far from Chicago, right? Isn't it just
right? Yeah,
Chicago.
Very, very close. I think I stayed in Naperville.
Okay.
When I was there. Or just, on the outskirts. But, yeah, very, very close to Chicago. So make sure you're ready to be tolled. Get your Easy Pass fired up and make sure you register with the toll throughway because they'll send you a nasty letter if you don't pay your tolls.
If you don't pay your tolls, right. Yeah, that's
ask me how I know. It happened to me.
You've done that a time or two.
A time or two. I thought that my Easy Pass would work. But in a lot of cases, it doesn't. You have to register with the Illinois State Department of Transportation, and then, it's a separate entity from like your Easy Pass. So
interesting.
Didn't know that.
Interesting.
They will catch you and send you a letter if it doesn't work, and then you'll know from there. But yes, I hope I think you have a great trip up there, and what a fantastic venue, and I think. Thursday night, Saturday night, it's going to be awesome that Full Pull Live will bring you all the action Thursday and then 2 sessions. So you have back-to-back sessions on Saturday, and that's another interesting thing. A lot of folks got to watch breakage, and attrition and make sure that they can pull and then come back and pull again the same day.
Yeah, that back-to-back like that. So 6:30 on Thursday night, Full Pull Live. And then 12:30 on Saturday, and then 6:30 on Saturday will be your sessions. And then, all kinds of great action going on this weekend. Lumberton, North Carolina. Cody Singletary's pull down there. The Region 4 event, great event, will be on Full Pull Live as well. So, yeah, got a great weekend of, boy, there's been some really great weekends here as of late with the events on the weekend. And just to give I know on Saturday, Buckner, Missouri was the Outlaw Bowl, and then they have Unionville, Missouri as well on with the Outlaw events. So, yeah, some great action, this weekend, Full Pull Live. I know they said Thursday in Sandwich it was supposed to be high of 67.
Wow.
So it's going to be it got a little chilly there at Canton over the weekend. It was the first weekend that I can actually remember all year long that it hasn't been hot and humid.
Right.
It was
at all. Okay.
Oh, it felt so great, Jeremy.
Okay. Yeah, I get it up there. But I would have thought we didn't experience that. We got the hot.
No, my wife said it was hotter than heck down here still. Yeah. So it kind of, I think, just north of Cincinnati is where the weather changed.
Okay.
Where we had that change in the weather. But let's talk about where you were this weekend.
Sure, absolutely. So I had the opportunity to go Saturday night to the Grayson County Fair for the KTPA, Brandon and Amanda Cox and that crew. So I went down and we did, I think 7 classes there at the Grayson County Fair. They had, super modified 4s, super modified 2s. They had, I think, light limited supers, and then they had some hot street 2-wheel drives that were pretty interesting. I had never seen that class before. And then 2630 diesel trucks. So yeah, it was fun, and was a really neat venue, kind of up in the crow's nest, up high, and got to see the whole track. And but I know you would have been excited because the Nightmare and the Valley Shaker.
Yes, you sent me the picture of the Nightmare. I saw that and I went, yeah, there we go.
And some of those old school, long wheelbase for super modified 4s were there. So I think they had 8. They had 6 or 8 in the class. It was really fun to watch, and so that was my Saturday night. And then Sunday afternoon, I headed up to a little place just outside of Greensburg, Indiana, called Burney, Burney, and it's just a little tiny blip on the map outside of Greensburg, Indiana. But I got to tell you, I went kind of on this main back road, and I get to this 4-way, and the next thing I know, I just see semis headed, and they're all kind of in a convoy together. And I'm like, well, I'll just follow them because I know where they're going. And so I get there, and, there's this field, and as far as you could see in either direction are nothing but trailers and haulers. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. There's a little tiny municipal fire department, the Burney Clay Township Fire Department, and then right next door is this track. And I swear it's literally like if you go past 350 feet, Dan, you're in the middle of a bean field.
Mm-hmm.
That's and so you sort of got this reminiscence of Thunder Valley as a kid, or just some of these places that you kind of grew up pulling. But I will tell you, they had a bunch of farm stock classes, 10,000 pound, 12,000 pounds, 6 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour. They had a semi class. They had just a whole bunch of farm stock classes. I think they had 10 classes on the day. I was there to announce some of the hotter classes. So they had hot farm. They had light pro stocks. They had actual 10 pro stocks. They had a bunch of 5.0s there, which was great. They had a diesel super stock exhibition. Of course, Kyle Holland was there with his beautiful Agco, and it's a beautiful tractor to see. Both of the Holland boys live really close.
Right. Yeah, they're just up in St. Paul. They're just north of there. Yep.
Just up the way. So the story, as I understood it, was that this has been going on for many, many years. But they usually pull garden tractors, and then they pulled all farm stock tractors until COVID hit. Somehow, some way during COVID, the fire department and the township was able to be the first event in the area that could actually go live. So they had the event during COVID. And when they did, people came out of the woodwork, and they reached out to the Hollands. And the Hollands got some more people to come, and then they added classes. And So, but I got to tell you, there were 25 hot farms, 25, and they were good hot farms. They weren't, your average run of the mill. I mean, these are people who are chasing national level points who just happened to show up in Bernie, Indiana, and then people from other classes. So like, Josh Miley jumps in and drives a hot farm for somebody who had brought a couple. So you see the Francisco, Indiana connection jumping in and driving some other people's tractors. And then you saw all the usual suspects, the Robbinses and the Flecks.
Well, Greensburg's kind of a hotbed there.
It certainly is. Yeah, there are a whole bunch, but 25. And, I'm just kind of standing there, hand on my hip, and one of the Holland boys walks up to me and he says, "Hey, not bad for a little brush pull, huh?"
That's pretty awesome. Now, was it right off 46, isn't it? Isn't there a sign just before you get into Greensburg?
Yeah, just like super duper close.
Okay.
But it's another one of those places like Tampico. If you blink, you'll miss it. Like you'll drive right past it if you didn't know that's where you're going. Like and it's
because I've driven by the pull grounds with nothing going on. I mean, literally, it was a field at a corner.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is. Okay. But that field was full of haulers and from various different weight classes and lots of different things happening. But I see big things happening here, and they've already talking about sort of dipping into the waters of maybe having a 2-day event. And, they right now are pulling, I think, garden tractors already on like 2 nights before, like Thursday night or Friday night. Okay. So they've been having some conversations about, how do you do more and get more and have more stuff come. But if you have the opportunity, take it from me. If you love the nostalgia of what a brush pull was when you were younger, head up there. They're doing great things. They've got it very, very well thought out, and it was put on well. And I think everybody who was there was very, very happy. But I think the hot farm class, I tip my hat to it. It was an unbelievable class to watch. The last hook in the class won it, but he also happened to be the test puller. So test puller pulls, they reset the wagon. He comes back at the very bottom and wins. So
awesome. And you said pro stocks? They had what, 5.0 pro stocks?
They had 5.0 pros, I think 5 or 6 of them. And then they had light pros as well. And then of course the hot farms. Then they had a bunch of farm stock classes as well there. And then they ran like a street semi class. They had a lot of cool things happening up there. But and then of course they had a big hog roast. And the fire department had, pulled pork and sides and drinks. And that's kind of how they made, it's what they sold to kind of make money to, keep things going up there. But it was really, really, really fun. And I recommend it highly for anybody who may be up at the U.S. Nationals catching the rounds on Sunday. I didn't get up there until the pull didn't start till 5. Okay. So you could catch the majority of the Indy pull or the Indy event and head straight to Greensburg and catch, and I left at 10, and I think they still had 4 classes yet to go.
Okay.
When I left, I think there were, it was my class, or maybe 3. I think they had, 10 classes, and I left after like 7. So, but it was a really neat place, and thanks to the Holland boys, and thanks to Kyle Fogel for, the guy just reached out to me on Snapchat. And it's like, hey, got a pull I think you might be interested in. I want to talk to you about it. Call me. And when I called him and he sent me the flyer, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. But
that's awesome.
It was really neat to go up there. And, of course, got to see, a lot of folks that you see up that way. But, the nightlife, John Deere was there. I love that tractor.
Oh, yes.
And, and I forgot to tell you that the Gettingers had the D21.
Really? Okay. The Mark Ettinger had the D21 out there? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He sure did.
I saw that. Where did I see that? At Fort Recovery, I want to say I saw that out there. And boy, what a beautiful tractor.
Absolutely.
What he was. And I wanted to tell you that, in Canton, we did have the 3, classic super stock. We did have the, Slutty Ellis was out there. We did have the, the yellow, the industrial yellow Alice out there, and the other orange one was out there as well. So three of them out there again. The Classic Super.
It was a great event. Brian Carrington and the Endless was your winner in Hot Farm there.
Okay.
But another one who kind of from the past that shows up and does well in Hot Farm, Greg Lamb, the Black Viper,
was there. Black Viper, yes,
and he was top 5. Josh Miley, of course, was in there. Of course, the Robbins boys and Jordan Harris and the Magnum Fied was there with his. Yeah. And that's a beautiful tractor, a tough runner. Brian Rexing, Brian Pruitt, the Bombers, and the Flex. And, of course, the Robbinses were all there. So, I mean, Austin Peters was there. A veritable who's who.
Yeah. You can't, yeah.
Ron Cole, Ryan Hefner, Troy Foist. So, you had a great mix. You had a great mix of Kentucky and Ohio and Indiana tractors up there. And I'm telling you, not that everybody just goes out of their way to be excited about a Hot Farm class, but I was.
Yeah. That is really cool. I had thought for sure, I when I was up that way, I thought that there was, signs for garden tractor pull. I know I'd seen, maybe they run a couple events during the year, maybe.
They do. Okay. They run a couple events during the year. I think one of them got flooded out this year in the spring.
Okay.
They had some bad rains and they didn't get to have it as much as they wanted to. But I think this is sort of the marquee event, over Labor Day weekend.
That's really awesome.
I would highly recommend it, and I hope to be able to go back. But wear a coat. It got cold.
Well, it's Friday and Saturday in Canada, it got pretty chilly, and then Sunday night when we were in Indy, we went, for the day, spent the day at Indy there, and I say ran into, Team Sullivan was there, and of course the whole UD Motorsports operation was there, and Donald didn't have a shirt on, so he was. But Team Theobald, the Nelsons, John Card, a lot of pulling folks up that way, and good to kind of hang out and just chill out for the day, and always a good time. Smell some nitro, right? That's always.
Did you go hang out at the Sheltons? Did you see?
They didn't qualify.
Really?
They were pretty much out of there pretty early, and so I didn't get a chance. I went by the Janus camp there a couple times. I didn't see Junior out there, so always like to say hi, but he wasn't around. And it was just your normal, but it was cool. It was a beautiful day, and couldn't beat that. And then Monday night, I had the opportunity to do the pull in New London, Ohio for the OSTPA.
Okay,
we were out there with Full Pull Live, and Randy Fishbaugh and his crew out there. A great, it's a Labor Day, New London Labor Day festival kind of deal out there, and second year for their tractor pull. And had
the pizza.
Yes. Oh, he
was going
to
tell me about it.
So we got to talk about the pull first,
all right?
Because we had the pizza after. So we'll angry chicken. We had angry chicken.
Interesting.
So, oh yeah. But 4 great classes. OSTPA out there had super modified 4-wheel drives. Love that class. Absolutely. Love that class. Big horsepower. We had those out there. We had a nice class of minis. Had a nice class pro stock tractors and modified tractors. Filled out the program out there. Galen Bargy won the modified class. Steve Barker, Livewire, he took the 4-wheel drive class. Our mini class, I'm trying to think. Brian Deppen won the pro stock. Marvin Deppen won the pro stock class.
Okay.
And then mini class was taken.
Jeff Hurd?
No, Jeff didn't win it. Mike Summers again.
Okay.
Mike Summers. That tractor's been hot. We saw it do really well in Wellington a couple weeks ago there, and so Mike Summers took the. So after that, of course, we went on over to the Fishbaugh compound over there, which is right on the grounds, basically.
Okay.
And enjoyed some great pizza, and yes, it was angry chicken. So yeah, we had a great night, and thanks to the Fishbaughs for putting on an event, and yeah, it was really if you're up that way, and it was kind of. We weren't too far from like Norwalk. I saw signs for Norwalk, and so we were kind of like right in central Ohio there, or more towards the eastern side a little bit. But
sure.
But yeah, it was nestled in there, and And I didn't realize, driving across, how many different OSTPA events. I mean, basically every town you drive to, there's Tiffin, then Attica, home of Harold. And,
right.
You go through and it's like, wow, you don't realize how they're stacked in there like that. But, 40 some events there for OSTPA, and, they're all in there. So yeah, that had a great time up there Monday night, beautiful day. And, the poll started about 5:00 and we were done about, I want to say it was about 8:00, 8:30 before it got dark.
Now, do they run the Supermod 4s up there have to run short wheelbase, right?
Yes. Yeah. They can't be the long wheelbase like the ones that they run down, in Kentucky and, down Tennessee, Kentucky, down there. Yeah. They're bigger cubic inch too. They're
fun ones.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm trying to think because you showed me that picture and I was just kind of curious how that, who owns that truck now? Did you know?
You know what? I'd have to remember who drove it. I'll have to get back with you on that.
Okay. Yeah, because you sent me that picture and I'm like, boy, that's looking pretty cool. And there's one that goes back, but yeah, no, that was pretty neat to see. So yeah, no, great weekend, Labor Day weekend, way to cap it off. And back down here in the southern Indiana, what do they call it? Kentuckiana area? Is that what I'm
area?
Technically
for a few days, and then you're headed up Chicago way.
So that like you said, that pretty much takes up the weekend. And
yep. Well, lots of good pulling yet, and can't wait to see what happens up at Sandwich. And we're kind of all gonna just align ourselves for the Enderley. So, one section of, we had Wassey on, and then of course Canton. So those battles have already decided where they're going. And so we kind of know who the players are going to be going to the Enderley. And then we have another round of that coming up with you at Sandwich. So I'm excited to check all that out. I have another weekend off this weekend. So, and I guess we should also say that, Pro Pulling League is going to be in Nashville.
I was just going to say, yeah, they've got their finals coming up in Nashville this weekend.
Some champions this weekend coming up in Nashville, Illinois. There at the Holzhauer's track.
Holzhauer's, yep.
So two night shows there as well, I believe. So lots of pulling.
Champions will be crowned. 2-wheelers, pro stocks, I believe mini rods will be out there. Yep. And so yeah, we're going to crown some more champions. So yeah. Some great options. Looks like most of the big stuff's going to be in Illinois this weekend, and Outlaws will be in Missouri for a couple shows. So, head on out. Still a couple big weekends ahead here before we start winding things down for the season. So get out and see some great pulling action.
Absolutely, and if you can, go visit all of your local pulls. If you're still seeing county fairs, get out there and. State level organizations are still in full swing till probably October. So get out there sometime this weekend if you can and go pull it.
Absolutely.
No matter where, just go.
That's right. Lineups for Sandwich on fullpull.us, as well as the streaming. What's coming up this weekend? We talked about Lumberton, North Carolina will be streamed, as well as the Outlaw events in Sandwich on Full Pull Live. So make sure you check those out. And as always, met some more great fans at Canton this past weekend, and they say they watch us regularly, Jeremy. So
fantastic.
And I says, well, if you've got any ideas, let us know. And they'd like us to hit some topics during the winter time when things slow down.
Yeah, for sure.
That seems to be the. So I says, hey, send us what you'd like us to talk about. And
what do you want us to talk about? Where you want us to go? And let's do that. Yeah, it won't be long. We'll be looking. So. We'll have that kind of dead period between, the end of the points battles and banquets, and then, farm machinery show. So it's always great to have those conversations. So bring them to us. Let us know what you want, and we'll try our best to accommodate you for sure.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for episode 25 this week in pulling. We thank you for watching, and like I say, we'll have Miles join us again next week. He's got his plate full for sure. So he's Miles is going.
Good luck to everybody in Sandwich this weekend and everywhere else you're pulling. And everybody be safe and keep sending the messages and keep letting us know what you like. And we appreciate all you all watching. So have a great evening.
Yep. We'll see you all next week.